A listener wants to know what female singer has had the most #1 solo hits on the country chart. Well, the woman who holds that record became a professional singer, she says, because she needed extra money to pay her child's medical bills. That story's coming up.
The hits from coast to coast.
We're coming to you from Hollywood. Now, let's answer that question about #1 hits on the country chart. What female singer has had the most #1 solo hits on Billboard's country chart? Well, the woman who holds that record told us that having to pay her child's medical bills is what pushed her into singing. Born and raised near Tupelo, Mississippi, she'd married at the tender age of 17. By the time she was 21, she'd had 3 children, and her marriage had broken up. She was working as a beautician in Birmingham, Alabama, when her 3rd child, a little girl, came down with spinal meningitis. So she said she had no choice but to look for extra work to help pay the bills. Now, she'd always had a good singing voice, so she began auditioning at local radio stations. And luckily, she got a job as a backup singer. In time, that job got her more work as featured vocalist on WBCR-TV's Country Boy Eddie show, as a club singer, and as a song plugger for several Nashville songwriters. A pretty fair start in show business, first motivated by the need to pay medical bills. And it brought this talented woman to the attention of famous Nashville record producer Billy Sherrill, who signed her to a contract. The name her parents had given her was Wynette Pugh. The name she took to sing by is one of the great names in country music, Tammy Wynette. And of all the great female country stars, Tammy's had more #1s than any of them, 16. And there's your answer, John. The female singer with the most #1 hits on the Billboard country chart is former beautician Tammy Wynette, with 16 #1s. Thanks for writing. Now on with the countdown.
And at number 12 is the first top 40 hit in 23 years for a music legend, a country music legend, Tammy Wynette. She sings on Justified and Ancient by the KLF, and recently AT40 had the chance to ask Tammy how it felt to be back.
It feels incredible. It feels great. I don't know how to say it feels. It's just, it's wonderful after all this length of time. I never dreamed that anything like this could happen again, but it has, and I'm very excited.
And how does it feel to be sandwiched in between the likes of, say, Boyz II Men and Michael Bolton?
It's very, very strange to hear that. I turn on the station and listen to it, and I hear it, and I think, that cannot be me. How did I ever get so lucky enough to be able to get to do that song? Because I find myself humming that song all the time. I love the song. So it's been fun. When I did the record with KLF, I really didn't know who KLF was. I just knew of them. And Bill was so nice. There was no problem whatsoever recording the record. I mean, he was just a great, genuine guy. But to be played on top 40 stations again is just incredible. Is the only thing I can think of.
American Top 40.
If you've seen the video for this next hit, you know it looks like some kind of pagan spectacle. And there, presiding over it all, as one writer put it, was Glinda the Good Witch, happy, smiling, and waving. That's country music legend and grandmother Tammy Wynette. And the song she recorded with the KLF is at number 28. And Tammy told us about the making of that video.
We did it at Pinewood Studios, which is the studio where 007 does all his movies. And that was a very awesome feeling for me to be there because I love James Bond. They had a swimming pool. I guess it was probably 10 times the size of an Olympic-sized swimming pool. It was huge. They had a submarine in it. They had a machine that made waves that looked like the ocean. They had all kinds of wind machines on us while we worked for 15 hours. I had to wear a dress that was like a mermaid dress. It was so tight at the knees I could barely walk. And the Zulu singers and the Zulu dancers, I thought were wonderful. That was great.
Casey's Top 40.
I'm Casey Kasem. Casey's Top 40 originates in Hollywood. Well, now we're up to one of the oddest couples on the charts today. The British conceptual rap act, the KLF, and country music legend Tammy Wynette. Why are they singing together? Well, it all began with childhood friends Bill Drummond and Jimmy Cauty, the twosome that makes up KLF. Bill and Jimmy both share an eclectic taste in music. Growing up in England, one of their favorite sounds was American country music, and one of their country idols was Tammy Wynette, the woman famous for singing Stand By Your Man. As Bill and Jimmy's duo, the KLF, began to grow in popularity in Britain, they came up with the idea of inviting Tammy to perform on a song with them. The song they had in mind was a ballad that they'd included on their White Room CD. The song was called Justified and Ancient, and their idea was to redo the ballad as a dance track with vocals by Tammy. But they weren't sure how to get her to sing with them. So they made a demo tape and sent it to Tammy's manager. He passed it on to the country legend, and one day she sat down, put it on her tape recorder, and took a listen. What Tammy heard was puzzling. She says she didn't quite know what to make of the song. She loved the music the moment she heard it, particularly the catchy melody, but she didn't really understand the lyrics. In fact, she had no idea what they were about. Tammy was ready to turn the song down until she asked her twin granddaughters if they'd ever heard of the KLF. As it turned out, the girls were big fans of the British duo because of their hit from last year, 3 a.m. Eternal. Tammy Wynette's granddaughters told her she just had to record with the KLF. Still, Tammy was confused about those lyrics, so she contacted Bill and Jimmy and asked them if they could change the words just a little so at least she could know what she was singing. They said, of course, and added lines like, they called me up in Tennessee. They said, Tammy, stand by the jams. And they explained to Tammy that the jams stands for Justified Ancients of Moo Moo. It's a reference to the name the KLF used to use. The end result of that collaboration by the oddest couple on the charts was a recent top 10 smash, a song Tammy says her granddaughters absolutely love. This week, it's survey song number 19 on Casey's Top 40 as the countdown rolls on.
Casey's Top